Hi, everyone. This is Jackie Cooper with the Blockchain Legal Institute and the Maryland Blockchain Association. How are you doing today, Patrina? I know that we've had an intense week. How are you?
And I'm gonna say really, yeah, intense is one definitely the word to use for it. Uh,
Intense and good.
yeah, but good, productive.
Mhm. I know that I guess I'll share first. For those that have been kind of seeing my social media, the Blockchain Legal Institute had its
Yes.
third global summit on blockchain and sustainability. And it was really rewarding because we had six panels. We had a great tech team that was helping us flip people in and out and navigating some of the whenever you go live, there's always tech problems, and different people were streaming in from different continents and time zones. So we had a few late stragglers, not any, on any fault on theirs, but just because of how tech works sometimes. But I mean, the content spanned from talking about decentralized exchanges to Bitcoin mining to just the sustainability topics that are happening around the world, and how blockchain is both efficient and both from an energy perspective as well as from an economic perspective, and it's supporting a lot of the sustainability goals of the UN and communities around the world. So I mean, it was so packed with information. I know that my co-founder Matt is doing some little short clips right now that are going to be um, really, telling in terms of just the information, because when you have 4 hours of content from like
Yeah.
1 to 5 with really stupendous keynotes and endnotes, you kind of get lost in the overload of information. So
Mhm.
these little shorts are going to be phenomenal just in terms of the nuggets of wisdom that were shared. So for anyone who's listening on the Blockchain Legal Institute YouTube side, as well as on the website, we have it streaming, and you can kind of listen and enjoy and ask more questions of us, because we're about to host our next global summit. So we're it's always rewarding when you plan it and then it's successful, and then you go on to the
That's
next
the next one. So awesome, awesome. So next one will be in March of next year.
March 21st. I just updated our blockchain, the Legal Institute's YouTube. It's
Uh-huh.
March 21st. We always have it on 10/23 and 3/21. So it's 10/20, March 21st. And it's going to be, right now, the topic is about SROs and sandboxes and other ways that the blockchain community is being supported by governments and local communities, which, it's a two-way street. We support, the economics of business in our communities, and likewise, the governments are looking at how can we support development. Because I'm thinking about, like, one of the businesses, they actually they're based here in the States, but they were supporting communities in Mexico with coffee and other things. And there was like a lot of cross migration
Uh-huh.
back to the community, because the businesses became so efficient.
Uh-huh.
They were able to reinvest the money in the community, and
Oh, amazing.
they didn't have the same costs for the supply chain, because of different things that were going on. So it's like, it's all about economic development. It's all about career development, and that's the conversation that we're driving. I mean, it's, for me, being both kind of two legs, education and law. I know that
Mm-hmm.
it's really important to look at the compliance side, but it's also equally important to do the career development so people can
Mm-hmm.
stay compliant. And what was really interesting, I haven't given you a chance to even say edgewise. I've been doing research today for the Maryland Blockchain Association. So I've been calling the General Assembly, different people in the community, and I was calling the library that the General Assembly, they have an internal library source, and I was trying to do some research on legislation, and I was having a hard time pulling up. I pulled up a lot of legislation on artificial intelligence, but I had a hard time pulling up on, there was digital assets listed, but
Mhm.
nothing came up on Bitcoin, and nothing came up
Oh,
on some other topics. And I thought, well,
wow.
this is really strange.
Right.
I called the librarian to say, okay, what am I doing wrong? What,
Uh-huh.
and she said, well, they are always looking at what keywords to put in.
Uh-huh.
And so they don't always put Bitcoin as one of the keywords because they
Mm.
look at other keywords as being equivalent to that. And I explained to her and she's very open to adding
Mhm.
keywords, which was phenomenal. I mean, it's great to be able to partner
Mhm.
with agencies. But what they were looking at is, like, with one legislation, they took out the word cryptocurrency and just put any currency other than fiat. And I explained that can leave a gap.
Right.
If someone at one is researching and they put in cryptocurrency, then you might not come up, that legislation might not be pulled up, and you won't know that you actually have to follow it.
Mhm.
So, it's really important as we are supporting our legislative people to have them understand the vocabulary that maybe should be included within
Right.
the text, because if they are our innovative tech community is changing so fast.
Mhm.
So, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, real world assets,
Mhm.
blockchain,
Mhm.
protocols. I mean, if they didn't understand that Bitcoin is
Right.
different than Ethereum, then
Mhm.
and if they are taking words and kind of just making a mishmash, then, even though, again, no disrespect to anyone who's in the library science field, because I know how intelligent you are and how hard a job it is. But if you're every field, I'm in special education, that has
Mhm.
its own vocabulary right there.
Oh,
And if
absolutely.
I use the acronyms for, what's in my field, some
Mhm.
say, "What is IDA?"
Right.
Again, if you're not familiar or comfortable with the vocabulary, then you might think it's not relevant or important, and you might leave
Right.
out the word, and as a result of that, it has a whole different meaning.
Exactly.
Um, so this has been very, it's been rewarding to have these conversations,
Mhm.
and that's why we're doing the summits, so we
Mhm.
can kind of educate and learn at the same time, because everyone is kind of in the space and supporting each other. So
Exactly. I'm gonna
yeah.
say this Bitcoin with a capital B is different from a Bitcoin from a lowercase b, and you wouldn't know that if you weren't in the space.
So you were speaking in a library today too, and
I am
or this week,
this
and
week.
we were talking about the fact that, and I'm putting this out there to our community. If you are in the library field and you would like to have us come and do a workshop, we actually are available to do workshops virtual, maybe some in person. So connect with us, because we can talk to you about blockchain. We can talk to you about fundraising. We can talk to you about the innovative tech field. And we have a variety of workshops that we're already offering through Eventbrite.
Mhm.
But again, if you're in a community or a business association, and you want to have us come and speak to your audience, um, open invitation, reach out to us.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
why don't you go ahead and share, more about what you were
And
talking about?
so I talked this month at the Houston Public Library about starting a nonprofit and then also how to complete your 1023 form. And so yesterday or this week's topic was circling back around to starting your nonprofit. So I talked about the mechanics of it as well as ways to fundraise for your nonprofit. So that brought me up to, of course, using cryptocurrency. And we have our book here, which doesn't show up very well on screen, but you can check it out on Amazon. And so, as I was doing the presentation and talking about cryptocurrency, the those in attendance, literally, I had a couple of librarians in there as well, or employees of the library. And so I said cryptocurrency, and literally one of the attendees looked at me and said, "What's that?" And I was like, you know, Bitcoin is something you may be familiar with. And he's like, no. And so, we did a little bit of explanation with that and then talked about how large nonprofits have been using it to fundraise for almost the entire decade, but definitely taking advantage of it. So, we talked a little bit about cryptocurrency and fundraising, Crypto Giving Tuesday, which is the Tuesday, same Tuesday as Giving Tuesday after Thanksgiving. And so just wanted to remind you all that that is a great day for you all to tap into receiving cryptocurrency from donors who are looking to give it to nonprofits. It has turned into a $1 billion industry. And this is only the third year. Last year was $1 million, and I think it was like 2.3 million. And we've jumped all the way to $1 billion in the space of a year. So tap into it as a resource. This is a service that we provide. So if you are interested in learning how to fundraise using cryptocurrency, digital assets, just go to the website, businessofcharity.com. You can sign up for a consultation where we will talk about, the basics of what you need to start fundraising using cryptocurrency and digital assets, as well as how we can support you in that process. Because there are a couple of different ways that you can do it. Sometimes people are like, I don't necessarily want to get into, actually accepting crypto. Well, guess what? You don't have to. There are ways that you can accept it without ever having actual crypto or a wallet. You can receive it and then it will be converted into fiat or cash, and you receive the cash, and someone else does the mechanics of that conversion. So schedule some time with us so that we can help you get ready for Giving Tuesday. Because guess what? It's around the corner. We
And
are a month away from Thanksgiving, just over month and 3 days. And then right after that, the following week is Giving Tuesday and Crypto Giving Tuesday. So get ready because, yeah, great way to do this.
And that's exactly why I put the Blockchain Legal Institute Foundation up so you guys can see it, because one of the purposes of the charity that we created was to help with fundraising to give away the educational books, the Bitcoin Cinderella. And I do want to mention, in case you're listening, there's a new book that has just been released. It's called The Bitcoin Cinderella and the Spirit of the Shiba Inu. So it's all about tokens. And the next one after that is going to be about Bermuda. But the Bitcoin Cinderella and Spirit of Shiba Inu is out on Amazon. Should be by Sunday. And so definitely take a read there. But you're talking about donors and sponsors. So I just want to kind of flip over here to the page, because you're right. The Blockchain Legal Institute, we do accept cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, that type of thing, but we did not want to actually hold the crypto necessarily. So, within the button here, which says Bitcoin crypto donation, you can actually give us your crypto, and then it immediately gets converted into fiat. So my accountants say thank you for that. But again, from that perspective, you can definitely support us on not just Crypto Tuesday, but any Tuesday at all.
Right.
And then the other thing I do want to mention, I know you're mentioning books. If you hold digital assets, you need to definitely. I mention this every time because I am constantly reminded about the need for everyone to have a will and to have a digital asset organizer. I know that I created that digital asset organizer book for attorneys and their clients simply because of the fact that I'm not always organized. And this was a way for me to keep organized. News. What other news that you have been following that you want to share? Because I know that there's been a lot of news about laws being passed recently that are very cryptocurrency friendly because of the elections coming up. And so I know that there's a discussion about having digital assets, the definition of digital assets be standardized across the country. So that way there's more of a fairness or equity, as it comes to taxes and things like that. what else has come up in your world as you've been kind of listening? And we're almost at the 15-minute mark, but I
We
do want
are,
to
yeah.
events.
So a couple of things, and this one is not directly related to cryptocurrency, but it is important. If you are a business owner, you need to make sure you are registered under the new US law that requires organizations, whether you're a nonprofit, for profit, LLC, to register with the federal government. We'll drop the link in the chat. So that has become, we talked about it earlier in the year. For those existing businesses, it was not necessary for you to register until December 31st, but I want to remind you there is a fine. When I researched it back at the beginning, it was $1,000 a day. I'm hearing now that it's like $591 a day, but either way, per day, that's a lot of money.
How do you check for those that can't remember? Because a lot of our memory is not very good. How do you check to make sure you've actually registered? How would someone do that?
Good question. So I would suggest going to the website, which is the BCFEN website. And that way you will be able to look there to see if you need to register again. So once you have arrived at that place, check to see if you have an account. And if you don't have one, go ahead and register because nobody wants to pay that $1,000 a day.
Nope.
Or less, whatever the fine is. You definitely don't want to make sure that you are not caught up in the federal government coming for you. And so make sure you are registered, and that way there are no issues. So December 31st is the last date to register for that.
So I'm just going to mention one quick thing, and then we're going to hop off. Be careful of scams. I recently received an email with my nonprofit's EIN number, and they did say in the letter, that this is we're not affiliated with the government, and this is an advertisement, blah blah blah. But they were actually saying, don't forget to register by December 31st, and they had all these click-through links. So if you were thinking that if you weren't reading carefully, and you were thinking that it looked pretty legit and that, you might have to click in here in order to avoid any, fines, be careful because, look at the email that it's coming from, make sure it's not a Gmail, and make sure, even if it is a business email, it's, again, go directly to that government website. Don't just click through because it could be a virus. It could be other things where they could actually, be doing more damage than good. So just always be aware of, the emails coming through because hacks happen no matter whether it's Web 2 or Web 3. So with that, we're going to hopefully leave on a happier note.
Yes. And so I just dropped the website into my name. And so FINCEN, not BF, FINCEN.gov is where you go to complete your beneficial ownership information. And then that way, one way or the other, you are registered, or if you need to start writing checks. So there we go.
So to watch the Blockchain Legal Institute's Global Summit, hop on over to the Blockchain Legal Institute YouTube. But also, we're going to be doing a lot of other virtual events between now and then. So everyone, enjoy your weekend, and we will be talking to you next Friday. And as I always say at the end of all the shows, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We're all part of one world, and now more than ever. So everyone, have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.